Oh, I'm sitting here and I'm acting like I'm not live. I don't know when I pushed the button to go live. Hi y'all. Yeah, I don't know when I did that. Now I'm sitting here belching everything. Oh, pardon me. Goodness. Where are my manners? That's what happens when you are gone for a long time and you come back. Uh, you don't remember what you're doing. This is crazy. But anywho, welcome back to After the Snap. I'm your host, Tasha Pierce, and this right here is a chat session. Now, it's a very organized chat session. I've got things planned that I want to talk about, but feel free to chime in. We can talk about whatever you want to talk about because I missed y'all. I've been missing talking to you. So we know that life changes are about to happen again over here in this household. The grandbaby that I've been waiting for is going to be coming real soon. August 11th is the due date, so it could be pretty much any day now. We'll have a little bambino, and I got to change. You'll notice a change in our setting here, and the reason why is because I got to give up this room because it's a bigger room for them to, put me over in that little closet sized room so I can be claustrophobic. But that's a whole different story. They need the space for the baby. I understand. Lots going on in the world, right? And I mean, not just my world, but the world in general. And one of the things that a lot of places, hey, Thomas, one of the things a lot of places has in common right now is this freaking heat wave. I don't know where everybody else lives. I'm in Houston, so it's always hot. But when I tell you it's been extra, extra hot, it has been extra. It's like whatever we was cooking out there is done. 100% finished. It's been over 100 degrees for not we had a respite last week and then it was right back to the over 100-degree temperatures. I don't know where you are, but it's been a common thread even in the UK, where they don't get these temperatures like this. Is something new for them. So I felt like, dang, this is like kind of telling us, right, that global warming there might be something to that. And it made me think of that movie with Leonardo DiCaprio, of Jennifer Garner, Tyler Perry. It was a lot of people. Everybody was in that movie. Finn Wolfhard. There was a lot of people in that movie, right? It was a movie called Don't Look Up. And what it was like a satirical comedy that was kind of touching on, or it was more or less an allegory to where we are right now with climate change. And there was a broadcaster, a meteorologist in the UK who was warning his city, the citizens, about what to expect with this huge heat wave. And when I tell you, it reminded me so much of Don't Look Up. So I'm about to play a clip. The first part of the clip is a scene from Don't Look Up. The second part of the clip is the actual newscast where this meteorologist was making his warning to the state, to the citizenry. So let's take a look. Or maybe we will, maybe we won't. Is that what we're doing? We're not taking a look. Oh, there we are. We're taking a look. We're taking a look. Okay. Here we go.
Sorry, are we not being clear? We're trying to tell you that the entire planet is about to be destroyed.
Okay.
Well, it's, just something we do around here. We just keep the bad news light.
Oh, you see, John, you're outside enjoying the sunshine. It's not too hot, is it?
No, it's absolutely lovely. It's 20 degrees out here. It's perfect. But on a serious note, folks, by early next week, you can scrap 20 degrees. It could well be 40 degrees. I think there will be hundreds, if not thousands, of excess deaths early next week. The charts that I can see in front of me are frightening. So we all like nice weather, but this will not be nice weather. This will be potentially lethal weather for a couple of days. It'll be brief, but it'll be brutal.
Oh,
so,
John,
we can... Yeah.
So, John, I want us to be happy about the weather, and every single. I don't know whether something's happened to meteorologists, make you all a little bit fatalistic and harbingers of doom, because all of the broadcasts, particularly on the BBC, every time I've turned on, anyone's talking about the weather, they're saying that there's going to be tons of fatalities. But haven't we always had hot weather, John? I mean, wasn't the 76, the summer of 76? That was as hot as this, wasn't it?
No, and we are seeing more and more records, more and more frequently, and more severely. So yeah, some people always hark back to the summer of '76, which was a freak event 40 odd years ago, over 40 years ago. But heat waves are becoming more extreme. This is yet another one which is coming down the tracks towards us, and I don't think we should be too.
So, as you can see, art sometimes imitates life. I was having a real hard time trying to figure out why the newscaster, the anchor, was attempting to play down the meteorologist's report. And Angus helped me out with that. I'm going to read his response that he gave me over on Discord. But in the meantime, the meteorologist was correct. Now, 40 degrees in the UK, they're on the Celsius, and we might be we're on Fahrenheit over here in North America. They are on Celsius, not even North America, in the US. But anywho, it's neither here nor there. They're on Celsius over there. So when they say 40 degrees, that is akin or like being over 100 degrees here. Those are temperatures they're just not used to. Their infrastructure is not prepared for heat like that. The meteorologist was correct. People lost their lives. They had to pretty much slow the city down. And I'm talking London. Slow the city down because the rails and the roads were pretty much buckling because of the heat. They wasn't ready. They just wasn't ready. It wasn't ready. So I'm going to go back and pick up what Angus told me that when I was asking, why are they avoiding just admitting that there's a problem? And where he said is if they acknowledge the climate problem, they'd have to embrace solutions that are antithetical to their ideologies. So basically politics, it always comes down to that. If we're in a real danger, please, let's not let politics divide us, because we all gonna die if we don't do something. And one of the things that we need to kind of touch and agree on is climate change. But anywho, I came here today out of all days because I wanted to get a feel for what we're expecting with San Diego Comic-Con. So we know San Diego Comic-Con is this weekend. Oh, in San Diego, duh. So it's in San Diego, and of course, this is the first live event since 2019. So their excitement is high. We're getting big studios coming out and making presentations. I'm all the way here for that. So I am going to tell you the presentations that I would most be looking forward to, the announcements that we might be expecting. And you tell me what you expect. I'm going to tell you what I expect, and then we're going to make a party out of this whole thing. Right? Right. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen because, of course, your girl got some slides today. It's been a while since I had slides. I've been a lazy bumpkin, but today I got slides. I had time. So we're going to go into our chat session. We're going to start off with San Diego Comic-Con. We know this weekend is what it is. On the screen here, you're going to see what my big anticipated panels for Friday would be. I wish I could be there. I've never been to one. And if you've been to a Comic-Con, any Comic-Con, go ahead and drop that in the chat or the comments if you are watching on rebroadcast. But anywho, Friday from 10:30 to noon, that's in the morning. Lord of the Rings is going to be presenting their panel for the prequel that we're getting to Lord of the Rings. So I'm excited for that. I'd like to see a little bit more about what we can expect with the series. And yeah, just give us another look at things, because we've seen some. I can't wait to see a little bit more. You know, maybe they'll have an extended trailer. I think this is coming out in September, so we will have we will have this pretty soon here. We're going to have to see a couple more looks at it to see if it's going to live up to the Lord of the Rings franchise. Right now, I believe it will. And right now, I'm super excited for it. But you let me know what you think. And then from 11:45 to 1:15, I saw that Marvel Animation is going to have a panel as well. Now, this is by no means the only things that I'll probably try to watch. And oh, by the way, you can watch this on IGN.com, their IGN YouTube channel, IGN on Twitch. You can catch different panels on all of these different platforms. Go to IGN.com and you'll see all the places where you might be able to catch one of the panels that you want to see. So there are a myriad of panels. In fact, if I was to go to San Diego Comic-Con, it would probably be harder for me to figure out which panels I want to see, because everybody is going to set up and you have to like move around and move past it or hear other people discuss it, where they're going or what they have seen. And, you know, it's like, okay, where do I go? What do I do? There are some that we know we're going to stop at. And for me, Marvel Animation would definitely be one. And the reason why is because they're coming out with that X-Men 97, which is supposed to be a direct sequel or the carrying on of the stories from the X-Men cartoons that we watched. You know, well, not me. I did watch them, but they weren't my era. But that X-Men, yeah. So as a matter of fact, they have decided that is going to be where they pick up the story of the X-Men in animated fashion. I want to know more about this particular animated feature and animated series. And the reason why is, number one, I want to know about voice actors. I want to know who they're going to have voicing some of our favorite characters. And will that correlate to who they will use in a live action X-Men series? So basically, I'm looking for clues, as I always am. I'm not ever just enjoying something. I always got to be looking for freaking clues. Just call me Scooby-Doo, because I'm always looking for clues. So yeah, on Friday, Marvel Animation. I'm pretty sure they're going to talk a little bit about I Am Groot, which is another animated feature. The Spidey and Friends, the little like pocket-sized versions of Spider-Man and his friends. I'm pretty sure we'll hear a little bit more about that. We'll probably hear more about What If Season 2, because that's coming, right? So there's a lot to look forward to in Marvel Animation, and understanding that they might be expanding even more on their animated series. So we're gonna keep our eye out on that. Now the big day is Saturday. Saturday, there are so many panels that I wish I could be a part of. And it starts early. So that means, and by the way, I don't know what time zone these times are, because this is in San Diego. So I don't know if these times are listed in Pacific time or if it has been adjusted for the time zone of the person looking this information up, which would be Central for me. So we might need to keep our eyes open to see if it doesn't come on at 10:15 over here in Houston, that means it's probably coming on at 12:15. But anywho, Saturday, 10:15 to 11:15, Warner Theatrical. So we are going to hear from Warner Brothers. And of course, I am looking forward to Possibly, you know what? I got another slide where we could talk about at length what we think we might see in Warner Theatrical's presentation. And then we have 11:30 to 12:30, House of the Dragon, which is that Game of Thrones prequel series. I'm looking forward to that. I didn't even watch Game of Thrones, but it's because I didn't have HBO Max. But hopefully I'll have HBO Max. I can watch House of the Dragon, and it can lead me straight into Game of the Thrones, and Game of Thrones, and I'll be watching it in pretty much timeline order. I think that would be a good way to get into the series. So I'm not trying to pick up Game of Thrones until House of the Dragon comes out. Then, of course, the one that I'm looking forward to heavily is the 12:45 to 2:15. That one is coming with Star Trek. Yeah, Star Trek has a panel, and of course, we already are riding high on the seasons that we've gotten thus far. We've had Prodigy, which has been just bang zoom right out of the park. Strange New Worlds has been so freaking amazing. And we're going to be talking a little bit more about Strange New Worlds in a bit. We're looking forward to the second half of the Prodigy season. We're looking forward to what is it? Lower Decks. Lower Decks is coming in just a couple of weeks here. If you can hold your breath, it'll be here. So yeah, it's a lot to look forward to. I don't know what new they might be announcing. Part of it may be where we're getting our next seasons of the series that we are already currently that are currently out. So we have Picard, we've got season 3, the final season of that coming out. Then we also have Discovery coming. We'll, of course, another season of Strange New Worlds. There may be other announcements. I'm expecting to hear something about the movie that we have been hearing that could be in development right now. Now, what to expect? I don't know what to expect. The only thing that I expect is to see the original Kelvin universe crew. I'm looking forward to seeing that. But other than that, I've got no clue what Star Trek has got up its sleeve for us. But anywho, we're gonna go to 2:30 to 3:30, and that's the Sandman. That is a DC property, but the Sandman is going to be on Netflix. Now, if you are unfamiliar with the story of the Sandman and you have Audible, there is a audio book or audio play, I guess, where they have some big names voicing the characters of the Sandman, and they're telling the story. If you want to get ahead and know what the Sandman is about, if you are unfamiliar, listen to that audio book. It is absolutely excellent. Also, it's a DC. It's derived from a DC comic. So if you are a DC head, you might already know what the Sandman is all about. But I say this: go into this Netflix series just a little bit blind. I'm pretty sure that we are going to be getting a trailer or something to let us know exactly what Netflix is going to offer with this DC property, and whether or not it's going to move straight from Netflix to HBO Max, or is this strictly a Netflix project? So we're going to be looking forward to that. And the crown jewel of the day to me is going to be the Marvel Studios presentation. That's from 5 to 6, and we got another slide telling you exactly what we might be looking forward to hearing about in those presentations. I'm looking forward to seeing what Kevin Feige brings out. Now, there is the one thing that you can expect is for them to hold back a little. Marvel Studios will hold back on us probably because we got D23 coming in the second week of September. So in the second week of September, we got D23. And if you didn't know, that's Disney's big fan event. And of course, the MCU is one of the tent poles of Disney's studios right now. So of course, they're going to want to have big announcements from Marvel that are exclusive to D23 to make it worth the wait, for this for that event. But I still expect for us to hear and see some things. For instance, we got the DCEU for Warner, right? We got the MCU coming out of Disney. The DCEU, some of the projects that I am expecting to hear or see a lot about is going to be Black Adam. That's one of the things we're going to see, probably a little bit more teaser footage of Black Adam. Then we will see Shazam, Fury of the Gods. We'll probably get a teaser or a trailer for Shazam, Fury of the Gods. Then Aquaman, Aquaman 2. I don't know why I didn't put the 2 behind it. We'll probably, most likely, get a teaser for Aquaman season 2 that will be a little bit longer than what we saw in what was the name of the DC event? God, it was so lackluster this past one that I really DC fandom. That's the name of it. I put a lot of it out of my memory because it was lackluster compared to the one from the year before. The one from the year before hit it out the park. Last year, not so much, but we might be seeing a little bit more of the Aquaman 2 footage than we saw in DC fandom. We also might get some footage from Batgirl and not the stuff that they have already sneaked out and leaked and all that foolishness. We might actually be seeing a teaser trailer or a whole trailer for the Batgirl. Then we probably will hear more about the Blue Beetle project that is in the works. And we'll probably hear a little bit more about the Joker 2 project that's in the works. Now, we did learn some months ago, it's a couple months ago, that Joker 2 is going to be a musical. And I want to know how they're going to do that. That's kind of, it's I ain't going to say scary, but it's different, and I don't know if we're ready for a musical Joker movie. But I'm going to trust the director, and I can't remember his name right now, so I'm drawing a blank. I'm going to trust the director and say that he did an absolute bang up job with the first Joker movie, in its dark and dour kind of presentation, and the fact that it is not affiliated or not connected in any way to their ongoing DC titles. I kind of liked what they did with Joker. But where we probably and maybe get big news is from the MCU. And ain't that all? As always, the MCU is going to give us the most. And what we can almost expect, this is what I expect. This is no promises. This is not written in stone, but I do expect to see a trailer for Wakanda Forever. Of course, that's the next movie coming up. I also expect for us to see maybe a teaser of Guardians 3. We might get a little bit more for the Marvels, maybe a teaser, maybe just a little bit more about the plot, where this thing is going. I kind of expect for us to get a teaser of Quantumania. That may be something that we see in the MCU presentation. And then everything else on my list is kind of like, we might see it. We might see it. And the reason why I say we might is because, again, D23 is coming. MCU is going to try to save some of its good stuff for its own fan event. But we might hear more about Captain America 4. We might, or definitely, I'm sure we'll definitely hear about She-Hulk Attorney at Law. We'll hear that because that's coming out in August. We'll probably hear more about Armor Wars, Ironheart, Secret Invasion. And by the way, it's like a freaking embarrassment of riches when you look at all of the titles coming out from the MCU, but it also can be daunting. There's a lot of titles coming out. This is a lot of shit to watch. So it's like a catch-22 with the MCU is how much is too much. it's probably never too much to a person like me. I'm always going to be interested in these characters and where the MCU was taking them next. But there are some people who are intimidated by this level of this many projects. And also, so many people came out of Multiverse of Madness feeling cheated. I've heard a lot about Thor. People are coming out feeling cheated. And I'm wondering if it's because they have not invested their time in watching the series that are on Disney Plus, and they might be missing some of the context behind some of the things that are happening in these movies. But neither here nor there. You're gonna like it or you're not gonna like it. That it's not one size fit all. Everybody is not going to enjoy everything, but that might possibly be one of the reasons where some people are feeling like, oh, that wasn't that great. It's because they might be missing some of the context. Anywho, Echo. Now we know that Echo is going to be getting her own series, and that series is expected to include Kingpin, of course, because where we left off with Echo in Hawkeye, she had just put a bullet in Kingpin. Now this is comically accurate. This is something that happened in the comics. Now she should be kind of on the run. We're trying to figure out if Kingpin survived this injury. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. We know he did because we have already heard that Vincent D'Onofrio is coming back for the Echo series. We also heard that Charlie Cox is coming back for the Echo series as the Daredevil. I am so looking forward to Echo because I want to get a look at these characters and how they might fit into the MCU, and not the little glimpse we got of Kingpin and Hawkeye. I want to see what kind of weight we're going to, what the gravitas of Kingpin coming to the MCU will be. Then we see Blade. We know that's coming soon. We haven't heard an awful lot about it. It's been announced maybe 3 years ago now, at the last time that we had a live San Diego Comic-Con. It was announced that Mahershala Ali was going to be stepping into the role of Blade. And I have been defending the choice of Mahershala Ali because a lot of people are saying, well, hell, you could have used Wesley Snipes. And I'm like, okay, Wesley Snipes is too old. But they're like, well, shit, Mahershala Ali is old. But I'm like, okay, Mahershala Ali is not that old because he's about the same age as me, and I ain't that old. But Mahershala Ali, he's getting older. I don't care how good you look and how black don't crack. At some point, you're going to start wearing that age on your face. And I would like to see Blade come in before all of that happens. It's got to be coming soon because from the looks of it, we're setting this thing up. And it's possible that we'll get a Midnight Suns announcement along with Blade. There is a lot that can happen with the announcement of the Blade movie, whether it comes at San Diego Comic-Con or whether it comes at D23. Then, of course, we know we're going to hear something about Fantastic Four. And maybe not in San Diego Comic-Con, but it is definitely on the horizon. Before this year is up, we'll know something because we have that D23 event. Hey, Lysandra, we got that D23 event second week of September. So you know that they're going to have to tell us something. They've been holding back on this Fantastic Four. Then there is a project that wasn't on the schedule, but multiple outlets are saying that we are possibly going to get a movie called The Mutants. Now, is this going to be instead of the X-Men? I don't know. Or is it going to be an origin story for all mutants? I don't know. But the bottom line is that is once we have learned, if you have watched Ms. Marvel on Disney Plus, you know now that the first mutant has been introduced in the MCU. So now we've said the word. We know who one of the mutants are. And it could be, let's tell the story of how all these people had this gene and it was awakened, and that's how we got mutants. Or it could be, let's tell the story of the X-Men without calling it the X-Men. I can't wait to see. I don't know if they're going to be announcing it again at San Diego Comic-Con, or if it's coming out, the more information on that movie is going to be coming out at D23, or if it was just a little dirty rumor. Thomas says he just watched Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. What did you think of that movie, Thomas? Let me know before I tell you what I thought of it. Daredevil is the final thing that we might hear a little bit something about. I don't expect it to be a movie. I do expect it to be a season 4 of the series that was on, what's the name of it? Netflix. So the series that was on Netflix is going to be continuing or maybe being rebooted over on Disney Plus. And, you know, I would like for them to give us some assurances of how they're going to do that. That's something I'm most excited about. Now let's go back to DC for just a moment, because there was one big rumor that came out of DC that will probably be music to a lot of people's ears. And that is, multiple outlets have reported that Henry Cavill is going to be on hand for the Warner panel at San Diego Comic-Con, and he's going to be talking all things Superman. Now, if you're unsure, that's a big deal, because number one, to me, as far as Superman in the current generation of Superman, he is absolutely who you need and want for a Superman character. He did an absolutely fantastic job with it in Man of Steel, and with what he was given in the Justice League and in the Zack Snyder's Justice League. I mean, he did the best you could probably ask for with the material that he was given. So I love Henry Cavill as Superman. I think he looks the part. He just looks so wholesome, and his delivery of the character is just so believable, and he has an understanding. But anywho, because he's a big nerd, just like I'm a big nerd, a lot of you guys are big nerds, you know, Henry Cavill is also a big nerd, and he geeks out about the exact same things that we geek out about. He is a fan of the source material. He understands the character. It had been rumored that the DCEU was separating from Henry Cavill, Ben Affleck, everything that had anything to do with the Zack Snyder Justice League. They was tossing a lot of it out the garbage. I am so glad that this rumor is out, because it gives me hope that this regime over there at Warner is going to right the ship. And by that, many people are speculating that Henry Cavill is going to return to the role of Superman, and that we'll possibly get an announcement for a Superman film. This is what we need. This is how you jumpstart this franchise. You explore other characters, exactly how they're doing with the Blue Beetle and the Batgirl, and the multiversal effects of the ramifications from the Flashpoint, which, by the way, I didn't put Flash on my slide about the movies that are coming out for the DCEU, because we know the movie is still coming out. The movie is completely shot. They're probably done with everything. Principal photography is done. They're probably done with so much of it. But because Ezra Miller is leaving such a bad taste in people's mouth right now, they're probably going to not lean into talking about Flash too much, but the events of Flash could roll over into the DCEU as a whole, and that would leave the door open for a Superman film. It would leave a door open for another Batman film besides the Robert Pattinson Batman, because of course we all loved that movie, but we're getting that movie is not going to, or that movie and that Batman is not going to cross over into the DCEU, and the same as the Joker and in that movie is not going to cross over to the DCEU. It's going to be a whole different universe in the DCEU. So I'm thinking we can jumpstart it. We can keep bringing in newer characters to kind of round out this Justice League. For instance, we know we're going to see the Justice Society of America show up in Black Adam. I'm completely looking forward to that. Completely looking forward to explore some other things. That's what I've been asking. But don't give up. Make a decent Superman movie with a decent script. Give this man something to work with. And I promise you, Henry Cavill is going to deliver. And I felt the same way about Ben Affleck, but Ben Affleck, I don't think wants to return to the role. But whomever we get, if we just use Batgirl for a little while in the DCEU, that's fine, because at least it's a story that has not been told yet in movie form. So anyway, those are the expectations for San Diego Comic-Con. I'm floored, and I'm so looking forward to it. I ain't making no promises. You know how I do with promises. But I may go live as I'm watching some of these panels. I know that I can't stream it from my setup over here so that other people can see, but we can discuss it as the presentations are being made. We can have discussions, or we can wait until all the panels are over at 6:00. At 6:00 on Saturday, and have just one big discussion. So maybe we can do one on Friday for Lord of the Rings and Marvel Animation, and then we can do one on Saturday for Warner, House of the Dragon, Star Trek, The Sandman, and Marvel Studios. And if there's anything else of interest that comes out, because of course, and I'm going back on what I said, but Keanu Reeves is going to be there. So are we going to be hearing something about John Wick? We know Keanu Reeves is going to be there because he is doing comic books now. He's got a comic book called Berserker, and it's his concept, his character, and he's going to be there kind of talking about the comic book. Will we hear more about John Wick 4? Thomas asks, can we watch the panels on YouTube? I think it's on IGN on YouTube. I'm going to look it up, the IGN YouTube channel. I'm going to look it up just to be sure, because I don't want to be passing on bad information. Let's see. It says how to watch San Diego Comic-Con online. San Diego Comic-Con 2022 takes place from July 21st to 24th, with IGN's live show on July 22nd and 23rd. So we will be able to see a live show, but maybe not the panels, maybe just the live show from IGN. It's going to be broadcast across many platforms. So you can watch it on IGN.com. You can watch it on IGN's Facebook channel, IGN's YouTube channel, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, iOS, Android, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Roku, everywhere. Everywhere. Pluto TV, even Plex Live TV. So yeah, there is a lot of places. There's really no reason why we can't see the live show, and hopefully by the live show they'll be I guess they will be focusing on some of the bigger panels that's coming out, and we'll be able to see that stuff. So if I get more information, or as I get more information, I will share it. So that means you need to join the Discord channel if you want to stay on top of what I find out, because once I close out this live stream, you might not hear from me again till tomorrow, or possibly even the next day. We'll see. And then what else? What else? Oh, so yeah, we got the big Superman news, and I'm super duper excited. And I'm trying to figure out, I got my notes here. I'm trying to find the right card. Y'all, if you don't know anything else about me, y'all know I'm a Star Trek aficionado. I love Star Trek. Love it. I love it by the pound. I love it by just the ton. I love it. We also know that Melissa Navia is playing one of the coolest new characters in Strange New Worlds, and her name is Ortegas. So Ortegas had Melissa Navia had a run-in with a fan. And look, I know I'm being messy. I'm about to share this whole little argument. It was a Twitter argument that Melissa Navia had with a quote-unquote fan. And the reason why I'm sharing it is because I am liking the fact that these actors are standing up for their performances and for the characters that they are portraying. She is all about Ortegas, and you are not about to say, you better have a real good reason for disliking the Ortegas character, because Melissa Navia is going to read you. Thank you, Thomas, for hitting the like button. I appreciate it. Anybody else? You want to help your sister out and hit the like button? But yeah, Melissa Navia, she had time this particular day. She got into a war of the words with a quote unquote fan. And let's talk about how I found it. Okay, y'all know that I'm on Twitter at Snap After. That's my handle. And I'm usually just quiet. I'm just watching and reading and just getting the news, basically. Melissa Navia is someone that I follow first and foremost because I like her personality. But anywho, a lady named Mary gave her opinion. And Mary said that she does not like the Ortega's character because she's only there to fit a certain demographic or to please a certain demographic. And Melissa Navia was like, so what? So she said, hi, Mary. Oh, and the lady said, you know what demographic it is. I won't say the word, but you guys know who I'm talking about. Okay, so Melissa Navia responds, hi, Mary. What's the word you cannot say? I'm the actor who spent a season developing a character that you've now publicly told this other channel that you care not for because she is a flat stereotype trying to appeal to a certain demographic. So I am mystified. Pray tell, what is the word? Now, we know what the word is. We know what the word is. But Mary didn't realize that, again, Melissa Navia had time this particular day. So Mary said, hey, Melissa, I see you've gotten quite a few responses already. Best of luck in your career. The word is lesbian. My ethics says to coexist. My morality says live and let live. Demographic says Ortega's appeals to that group, like Clark from the 100. Does that help you? So Mary is trying to she's coming for Melissa. And Melissa says, oh, Mary, it certainly does. But you said the character hasn't been developed. So what little about her that you've learned says lesbian? Because hello, we've never heard anything spoken of Ortega's sexuality in Strange New Worlds. We've never heard anything of it. So anywho, Melissa goes on to say, is it that she's an excellent pilot? Sounds awesome. Lesbians equal pilots. So your morality tells you to live and let live with pilots? That seems odd, no? Mary said, because Mary had time too now. She said, as I said in another post, it's the haircut. The pronoun he was used in an episode. Add that to certain experience I have had. Are you saying that Ortega's was not written to appeal to that demographic? That the he pronoun was not used? But of course, Melissa wasn't done. She was not done. She said her haircut and her gender play in one episode and your experiences. You know, going by he does not make a person a lesbian, right? So based on this, you've assumed who Ortegas has sex with and judged her to be morally inferior. So there then is the stereotype. It's you, Mary, you. And she is 100% correct. But what I really like about what Ortegas did here is that, or what Melissa Navia did here, is she continually used the she, her pronouns to describe Ortegas. So whether or not Ortegas is a lesbian or written to be a lesbian or whatever is neither here nor there. She, at this point in the series, goes by she and her pronouns. Now, Mary said, if I've misjudged and you're telling me I'm wrong, then I owe an apology for my assumption. Am I wrong, Melissa? It appears that you are insisting that I am. Melissa finished with, I'm insisting nothing, Mary. I'm outright calling you, what your own words have shown you to be, a bigot. And that's exactly what Mary was. You judge people superficially and think you're morally superior to people who love who they love. I need no apologies. I ask that you do better. Speak less, think more. So I love it. I love it because Melissa Navia said, number one, you're not going to attack my work without a valid reason, because this is a character that has been loved across the board by so many people. I'm not going to say everybody because that would be a generalization, but by so many people, they have loved Melissa Navia in this role. And to me, she's done a bang up job. I've been saying that a lot today, that word bang up. I don't know. Every so often I get stuck on a word, but you're going to have a better reason than her haircut, because what you're saying is anybody who has that haircut is gay, or anybody who has that haircut is bi, or any. You can't judge a person based upon their exterior all the time. You just can't. But to finish this out, because like I said, I was being messy and just sharing this because I thought, I mean, all I needed was some popcorn this particular night. It was on and popping. Melissa dropped the mic when she said, to end this whole thing, let it be known, I shrink from nothing. I pander to no one. When you come for Ortegas with bigoted nonsense, you come for anyone who looks like her, identifies with her, sees any part of themselves in her, looks up to her, vibes with her. I see you. We all see you. And Jerry Ryan, who is, of course, 7 of 9, she said, go get him. And we've all got your back. And that, my friends, is the Star Trek drama. But I was like, some of the things that Mary said, that Ortegas, the Melissa Navia, was only cast to appeal to a certain demographic. And that in this one episode, the episode that they were brainwashed and living in this book, right? So this was like almost like a holodeck episode without the holodeck, right? Okay. in this holodeck episode or this book episode, the character that Ortegas was playing was a male in the book. So of course they were referring to Ortegas as he, as she was playing this other role of a character in the book. I don't know if I'm making sense. But from that, Mary deduced that Ortegas had to be a lesbian or bi or whatever. But she didn't make that same assumption when Spock and T'Pol changed roles in the Spock and Muck episode. In the Spock and Muck episode, Spock became T'Pol and T'Pol became Spock. She didn't make that assumption about them, which again points me to the fact that she's only making her judgments based on appearances. Also, so Ortegas does the gender play thing, and this Mary lady thinks that she's a lesbian. Spock does a gender play thing, and that's okay. Okay. Also, as far as casting somebody to appeal to certain demographics, don't they do that all the time? Don't all shows, or many, I won't say all, again, generalization, but many shows cast people to appeal to certain demographics. And it even happens in Trek. And we can go all the way back to the original series, Chekhov. When Chekhov was added to the cast, it was to attract young female viewers. Young female viewers would be more interested if they put a younger, kind of good-looking guy on the bridge. So they put Chekhov on the bridge. Then we go to the next generation, Troy. Troy is the only person who sits on the bridge in a skin-tight outfit that has nothing to do with Starfleet. She was cast as kind of eye candy. Now, doesn't mean that you have to stay in that place because that's where they cast her. They tried to do a little bit more with the character as time went on, but to be quite honest, that's what Troy was cast for, to be the eye candy of that series. Then we go into I don't think we had one for Deep Space Nine. If you can remember a character who was cast specifically for their looks, let me know in the comments or in the chat, because I can't think of one for Deep Space Nine. The whole crew, the whole cast was a pretty good looking bunch, you know. So there was no one person who stood out as different, unless you think about Lita or something like that. But then we moved to Voyager. Star Trek Voyager was 7-9. The exact same. Hey, David. Oh, Dax. You think Dax was just eye candy? I think they rounded her out a little bit more, but she was a very pretty trill. So that Dax could be the character that was cast specifically to appeal to a certain demographic. Then I looked at okay, we said 7 of 9. She was cast, and you know, when you saw the outfit that she wore as part of Voyager's crew, you know that she was cast for her sexiness, even though she did do an outstanding job with the character as well. But a lot of people were fixated on her physical attributes, and they just accepted the fact that, oh, she's a pretty good actress too, you know. And then of course Enterprise, T'Pol, same thing. She was cast, and they actually because by the time Enterprise came along, they were pushing the envelope just a little bit more, and they were putting T'Pol in situations that would definitely explore her sexuality. So, and this is just Star Trek. We could do this for all kinds of shows where there was always somebody cast to appeal to a certain demographic. Yeah. David says not just eye candy, but definitely the attractiveness, and 7 of 9, totally. Totally. I agree. But then, okay, if you want to go beyond gender and sexuality, we can start again back at the original series. The casting of Nichelle Nichols and George Takei as Uhura and Sulu. Those were controversial casting decisions for the time that they were in. It was talking about a time that people wouldn't even pay attention to race, when that's all people paid attention to during that era. So it was a groundbreaking, a way ahead of its time. And those two people were cast so that underrepresented demographic could see themselves in a character on this show. And to me, that is absolutely the epitome of what Star Trek means. And I can't understand a person being a fan of Star Trek and being a bigot at the same time. Those two things don't coalesce. It's just like oil and water. I don't understand how you could be racist, bigoted, homophobic, how you could be any of those things, and transphobic, any of the phobics. I don't understand how you could be that and say that you're a fan of Star Trek. They just don't go together. Yes, Chekhov had that Beatles haircut. Yes, they were playing on his appeal to the teenage or the tweenage girls of that time, because it was another star. I can't remember his name right now. I think one of the monkeys. I can't remember his name. So we had them and we had the Beatles haircut. All of that was to appeal to a certain demographic. And people, this has been done since the beginning of television, to the beginning of film. Why do you think Clark Gable? Why do you think Fred Astaire? Some of the big names, Rock Hudson. Why do you think they were cast in the roles that they were cast in? Because they, first and foremost, they are very easy to look at, and then they are outstanding actors as well. Marilyn Monroe, in the beginning, when she first came out, she struggled with the acting, but she continued to get cast because of how outstandingly beautiful she was. Sexy. It was like she had that appeal, and that's why she was cast. It's not anything new or novel. Why do you think all of the, or many, yeah, I would say many of the captains in Star Trek are very easy to look at. We can start all the way back with Philippa Georgiou. Very pretty. Michelle Yeoh was a very pretty lady. And then we stepped into now Michael Burnham, very pretty lady. The central characters of these shows are usually the ones that are easiest to look at, unless it's an animated show, and we ain't expecting that. But Michael Burnham, Sonequa Martin Green is very easy to look at. She's a beautiful woman. We also have what's his name? The one that her boyfriend. Y'all know who I'm talking about. He's a good-looking man. I mean, the whole cast is a good-looking cast, but some people are cast specifically for their sexiness. We can move on. Kirk, and for his era, was a very good. William Shatner was a good-looking man, right? Then we move to Pike, even Pike, and I'm talking the original Pike, and I'm talking the Strange New Worlds Pike. Fine. I'm talking Strange New Worlds Pike is fine. Like Anson Mount is just fine. And he's an outstanding actor. But he's cast because that is one of the characteristics that embodies a captain. They have that strong, chiseled look. And I have always thought Patrick Stewart, the younger Patrick Stewart, I have always been in love with him. Yeah, I thought he was a sexy captain. Of course, Cisco is a good-looking captain. We can move on to Janeway. She was a good-looking captain. There's always a person that is easier to look at becomes the central character. Archer, very easy to look at, good-looking man. So, and then when you get all the way to Picard, the series Picard, you have Rios, who absolutely was a good-looking captain. So, David says Star Trek ushered in inclusion. Right. It was like they were at the forefront of that movement. The movement of, these people see beyond what you look like on the outside. They were the first interracial kiss on network TV. Uhura and Kirk. It was supposed to be Uhura and Spock, but for some reason they switched it and made it Kirk. I can't remember what the reason was. If you remember, put it in the comments or in the chat. But yeah, it was supposed to be Spock. They made it Kirk, and that was the first interracial kiss on network television. Everything about Star Trek has always been about inclusivity. And for people to really say that they are fans of the franchise and they don't get that. They just don't understand. And I'm not shitting on them because they don't understand, but sometimes if you just keep your mouth shut, people won't know that you're a fool. And this was a case where Mary should have shut up. She went and she continued to double down and argue with Melissa Navia, and I was just giving you Melissa Navia's responses. The fans were really coming for Mary. Melissa Navia, it was like they piled on Mary, but it's because Mary stayed and continued to shout her very, very unpopular opinion in this thread. And of course, if you continue to spew nonsense, people are going to continue to correct you. So anywho, there's that. So did I tell y'all how I think Hemmer is going to return to Strange New Worlds? I could not have told you guys because I haven't talked to y'all since the finale. First and foremost, Star Trek Strange New Worlds was the best first season of Trek that I have ever seen. Now, we can give them the benefit of, okay, that they are all the way at the end of the franchise. They have had an opportunity to get each one of these series right a little bit more as they moved on. But I honestly believe that the writer's room just gets it. They understand what, not saying that everything should be cookie cutter and that all of these series should be the same. That would get boring, right? But they definitely understood the assignment as it pertained to Strange New Worlds. Picking up David over here. David said, that's the definition of ignorance. Just doesn't get it, but that can be fixed. Stupid is forever. Exactly. She could not understand. And she kept leaning on her beliefs or her morality. And it's like, what Melissa Navia or the character of Ortegas does not interfere with your morality or your religious feelings, but you cannot bring your religious feelings and use that to judge her. You know what I mean? It's just people are getting that holier that they've always had. For as long as there have been people, there have been a group of people that are holier than thou. And that group of people is becoming far more, of course, history always repeats itself. And there was an era back in the day, way back in the day where that was a popular thing to do. And that is coming back around where people feel like they have, they're not living in this glass house. You living in a glass house because all I got to do, if I dig a little bit, I can find the thing that you do that don't make sense to me. And then I can pick that apart. But it's not my job to do that. When you're living in a glass house, you should not throw stones. Mary was throwing stones, and she uses morality and religion as her crutch to do that. And it's unfair to people who are really trying to embody the best of their beliefs. And you don't have to agree. I don't agree with religion, organized religion, period. No, I don't agree with it anymore. I used to as a younger person. I don't agree with it too much anymore. But for sure, I'm going to give you the opportunity, or you the room, to do exactly what you please and believe how you believe, because your belief is not, it's not impeding, it's not stepping on my toes. And there are some people who are really trying to live a Christ-like life. And if that is if believing in any type of religion, Islam, Christianity, Buddhism, Hinduism, if any of that, believing in those things makes you the best version of yourself, believe in it. You just can't force it down my throat. I'm trying to be the best version of myself, and without without the religion. I grew up in it, and that's a whole different that's a whole different story. I can thank you, David. Tasha said, Tasha, you're on your game tonight. Yes, I had time today. So anyway, Himmer, going back to the final episode of Star Trek Strange New Worlds, it's just I was so floored by this first season. Absolutely fantastic first season. But then the last episode of this first season, we lose one of the characters that I was beginning to become attached to, and that's Himmer. And Himmer, if you don't remember, is the Anar, and which is a cousin species of the Andorians. So but this species is mildly telepathic, and they are far more pale skinned. They are more or less white, and they are blind. So they are albino, they are blind, and they are telepathic. And they use these heightened senses to move about the world. They are like Daredevil. You know what I'm saying? But anywho, Hemmer, I started to love him, and he was bringing out the best in Uhura. He and Uhura had a very special kind of relationship. He was bringing out the best in her. And then final episode, that wasn't even the final episode, was it? That was an episode before the final episode. Silly me. Yes, Thomas, yes. Scotty's coming in season 2. We heard that in the in what turned out to be, was that the final episode? Look, I'm confused. Yes, the final episode, we heard Scotty's voice. Yes, we did. But it's okay. So the episode that I'm talking about is the penultimate episode, the one about the Gorn. And let me tell you, number one, I am very happy. I know a lot of people are feeling some type of way because of the changes that they made to the character of the Gorn. I'm so happy. They made the Gorn something formidable and something to fear. And if it meant changing canon, so be it. Wait a minute. Oh, Thomas says he looks like a cosplayer in one of the Star Trek Trekkie documentaries. And yeah, but yes, he looks good to me. I enjoyed the way they brought Himmer to life, even though we've seen this species before. I forgot what's the name of the it was the name of the episode was the Anar, right? We saw this species before in Enterprise, but yes, I kind of started liking Himmer. I really did. I was enjoying again his relationship with Uhura, again his very matter of fact, nonchalant kind of manner, and he was like kind of a brash, kind of a little abrasive, but likable. And Himmer grew on me. And then they killed him. And the freaking Gorn, they spit on him and of course, nobody knew that that's how they use your body as a nesting sack. And Himmer was beginning to mutate, and the little baby Gorn was going to jump out of his face. And we found out that the Gorn do not like cold. So Himmer walked out on that ice planet. He walked on out there, and he said, I'm sacrificing myself for y'all, and tears. And oh, I felt so bad because, other people died, but the one that had some weight behind it was Himmer. David asks, is the Gorn the same as an Enterprise? No, right now, what they're showing of the Gorn, no, because all that we have seen are the babies. Now, these little hatchling babies, they are vicious, and they are quick, and they are scary. So we can only imagine what the full grown ones will look like. And but if you had to compare it to one of the Gorn that we've seen, either the one that we saw in TOS or the one that we saw in Enterprise, it would lean more in the direction of the one from Enterprise. The one from TOS, they did the best with what they had at the time, but that one, wasn't believable. It didn't feel like anything to fear. These Gorn feel like something to fear. They killed so many people, and they did it in such a vicious manner. And they are so they have this whole alpha syndrome where they want to be the alpha of the what do you call it, of the litter. So if there's a litter of Gorns, all of them are born with the desire to be the alpha, but only one of them can be, and they will kill each other to be the alpha of this litter. So, we're getting a lot of blanks filled in about the Gorn. So I am really, really digging that, because yeah, we needed it. And yeah, we needed a change to this character to make them just as frightening as they can be. And I like that. I like that they're doing. So closer to the one in Enterprise. We haven't seen a full grown one. But if we had to choose, it would be closer to the one in Enterprise than what we saw in TOS. Okay, back to Himmer, because these Gorn, they were going to hatch in his body. They don't like the cold. They were on an ice planet. You already know where I'm going. Himmer is an Enar, who is also a cousin to the Andorians. The Andorians love the cold. Thus, the Enar love the cold. And the Enar love the cold because they can survive in it. It's just that's the habitat that they enjoy. So Himmer can survive out there in that cold weather, but the Gorn cannot. So Himmer could come back. Now, I don't know how, but he could. He could return. And I'm going to stand by the fact that I hope he does return because I really became attached to that character. And that's it. I don't have nothing else about Himmer, but I really did want to see him as this series progressed. And then that last episode, that final episode of Strange New Worlds, Chef's Kiss, they outdid themselves by showing if Pike tried to change his fate, what would happen, how the ripple effects would just go down through the Federation and through Starfleet, and what would change. And one of the things that changed was the events of oh gosh, what is the name of the episode? Gosh, I can't think of it. Okay, I'm looking it up because I can't think of it. The first. Let's see. Dang, I'm trying to see. Where did we see them? Balance of Terror. God, I don't know why I could not, and one thing I just now am starting to figure out too, and I didn't figure it out until somebody else said it, that when you have the like the anxiety and depression, that your memory becomes foggy. Stuff that used to just be right on the tip of your mind will just be lost in all the fog. And that's one of the things that I'm going through right now, is I'll forget things that, I knew like the back of my hand. Of course, I'm getting older too. I mean, that's not helping. But anyway, the episode was Balance of Terror. So what that final episode did was showed how the episode Balance of Terror would have played out if Pike would have remained in command of the Enterprise, and how those ripple effects would have affected Starfleet and the Federation moving forward. In fact, because we know that Spock went on to do great things, and he became very great friends with Kirk, and we actually saw James T. Kirk in the finale. I called that. Remember, I called that. Hello. I said we'll probably see him. But anywho, we saw James T. Kirk, and we saw him interact with his brother, Sam Kirk. That was nice. So this version of James T. Kirk is still cocky, but he kind of stepped back and followed the orders of Pike. And in doing that, there was a result, an undesirable result, because it means that it would walk back all kinds of things that happened in the original series and beyond. I enjoyed how they did it. It wasn't a complete beat by beat of the Balance of Terror episode, but it was enough for you to see an updated version of what that episode would look like. Yeah. Sam Kirk. Yeah, David. Jim Kirk's brother. So yeah, we've had him on the Enterprise. He's been with under Pike this entire time. And at this time, James Kirk was the captain of the Farragut. So the Farragut, there was some problems, some things happened, and it's boom. That's what it did. It went boom. But anywho, they were able to get most of the Farragut's crew onto the Enterprise, including Jim Kirk. So we saw Jim and Sam interact. And this would be the first time that I think that we saw Jim and Sam interact where Sam wasn't dead. Because the one episode that Sam showed up in as William Shatner with a mustache, Sam was already dead by the time Jim Kirk saw him. So there we have it. We got Sam Kirk, we got Jim Kirk, and we heard Scotty down in engineering. He kind of was helping Spock complete something. So we heard Scotty. I'm sure we're going to see him come season 2. I'm excited. Yes. Okay, so I talked about the most fantastic, beautiful, absolutely excellent first season of Star Trek ever. Yeah, David, we're gonna have to get you some Paramount Plus or something, buddy, because you got to see these things. Because this first season was epic, and I'm not overstating it. Epic. It was an excellent season. And then our next Trek we will be getting on August 25th, and that will be Lower Decks season 3. I guess, looking at this little graphic, I guess we can surmise that some of the other things, some of the changes that we have begun to see in Rutherford are going to continue, and it's going to be surrounding his 3 friends. We see way up here, that looks like the Cerritos. I'm not 100% sure because y'all know I can't see, but that looks like the Cerritos up there. So hopefully that's what that ship is. If not, I can't tell you what ship it is. But yeah, August 25th, 2022 is when Lower Decks returns. Lower Decks, of course, if you guys know anything about me, wasn't my favorite. It wasn't my favorite. However, I'm looking forward to it. I'm hoping that it leans more heavily into what they did very well in the first two seasons, and less of the more slapstick or raunchy humor. And I'm only saying that because it's an animated series. When you see animation, sometimes you think, but we shouldn't, because this one is kind of an adult series, and I'm going to try to curtail my expectations and just go with the flow. I said this at the beginning of last season. I'm saying it again this season. I'm just going to try to go with the flow. Now, we know August 25th is after the grandbaby arrives. So the issue is going to be, will the grandbaby allow us to have any enjoyment during that first month? Because if not, I'm going to be a little late to watch a Lower Decks. But if the grandbaby at that point is going to be basically the boss of the household. Yeah, the baby runs the house when they first come home. So it's up to us to put a little bit of structure to their little world, right? So hopefully the baby will give me an opportunity to do what we and watch Star Trek Lower Decks, because yeah, I can honestly say it's going to be scary. That bringing a baby home, I ain't been around no little baby in a while. It's going to be scary, but I think we're built for it. I think we're ready. With all that, I don't have much else. Y'all got anything that you guys want to discuss before I cut up out of here? Because I can't think of nothing else. I talked about everything I wanted to talk about, but there are things, it's a lot going on in the world. Speaking of which, there was a banner that I needed to put across this Lord. And one of the things, okay, I'm going to talk about this real quick before I get out of here. Bring Brittany Griner home. And Brittany Griner, of course, is the female basketball player, went over to Russia. They said that she had this I'm coming back to you right there, Thomas. But they said that she had the hash oil in her luggage. She has been locked up in a Russian jail for 4 or 5 months now, and she recently pled guilty to having this cartridge. That was supposed to, or is supposed to, make it easier. To plead guilty is to make it easier to do a prisoner exchange, if that's what they're going to do. So it's been too long. Just bring this girl home. Let's try to work out whatever we got to work out to bring her home. Another thing is our president, and I know I'm about to sound I guess a little heartless. Our president, Joe Biden. God, how do I not know the president's name? He has been diagnosed with COVID. And I'm not saying, young people can get sick and have long COVID and it can affect them. I was watching the World Athletic Championships for track and field. And there's a young man, and I forgot what country he's from. His name is Karsten Warholm, one of the fastest hurdlers in the world. In fact, he has, I think he's the gold medalist from the Olympics. So Karsten Warholm is the man as it comes to hurdles. And he's the man that everybody wants to beat because, he has been on top of this hurdle game for a few years now. Young guy, I think he's like 26. He had COVID and developed what they call long COVID. And it debilitated him. So the other night he ran in his signature race and he came in damn near dead last. And the reason why is because even though he has He has gone back to training and all this. He is not completely over that long COVID. He doesn't have the same wind as he used to, and he can't continue to compete at a high level day after day without feeling some of the burn from COVID. I said all that to say this. We've got an older president at this point. And of course, this wouldn't be it wouldn't be unprecedented. Our president, you know, we've had presidents get sick before. They've had to pass on duties to their vice president in the time while they're sick. We've also seen Donald Trump just during his regime in 2020, he caught COVID, but he didn't pass things over to Pence. But the bottom line is, we run a risk when we have our politicians, our presidents, being centenarians, almost octogenarians. Are you really for real? We need some younger people. We need some young blood in these offices. Not saying that it couldn't happen to them, but I have never been worried in my lifetime. I have never been worried about a president, except for when Reagan got shot, and I was a little girl, but I can remember that. When Reagan got shot, I was a little girl. I was like, is our president going to die? This is how I'm feeling right now. A full circle. I'm back to, is our president going to die? So, you know, if you're a praying person or well wishes or whatever, you need to do that for Joe Biden, because the world is not ready for Kamala Harris to be president, even though, you know, I am like, let's do it. But the world ain't ready, and things could get crazy if something crazier, because it's already crazy. Things get crazier if she had to be thrust into that role, because some people would have a huge problem with that. So anywho, have I seen Thor: Love and Thunder? No, I have not. I was talking, it came out at a bad time. There's a lot going on in my family. My family, I feel like my extended family, not so much my immediate family, but my extended family is going through it. So, and one of those things was the anniversary of my father's passing. That was July 8th. July 9th. And surprise, surprise, Thor: Love and Thunder came out on July 8th. And I was fit to be tied. I actually am just now coming back to myself today. Like, today is the first time I felt up to even doing this. And y'all know that I enjoy doing this. This is the first day I've felt up to doing this. So a long road of trying to get past that. And then stuff is just still happening. It's like every day it's something else. So I haven't seen it yet. My plan is to try to get my son to take me to see it on Tuesday. If I can get him to do that, so be it. If not, I might just wait until it comes out on on Disney Plus. David says, congratulations. Have fun with the grandchild. You always keep me up to date. Love you much. I appreciate you. Love you too. David asks, is the new Thor good? And Thomas says he's going to watch it tonight. David wants to know. And thanks, David. He says, I'm doing great. Thank you. So, yeah, I haven't seen it yet either, Thomas. I'm looking forward to seeing it. I have heard mixed reviews on Thor: Love and Thunder. But again, I'm wondering if people are not understanding or realizing where this saga is going. Because, okay, the Infinity Saga, when we started with Iron Man, which was a hell of a start, right? And then things got a little murky. People were saying that these next installments were not living up to Iron Man. A lot of people had a problem with Thor, the original Thor movie. A lot of people had a problem with of course, the original Incredible Hulk movie. People had a problem with Some people now, because to me, I still love Captain America, the first Avenger. But a lot of people had problems with these movies when they came out. Like, oh, and then Avengers came and picked things back up. That first movie, the Avengers first movie. So, so yes, TT baby is almost here. Yes, the baby will be here soon. Lord, run in the house. But so yeah, people are forgetting in that first phase, the very first phase of the MCU, things had to kind of build up to a crescendo. And all the way at the end of this was the masterpiece that is Infinity War and Endgame. So we're forgetting the road that we had to take to get there. And now we are beyond Infinity War and Endgame. Now we're going into an entirely new saga. And I don't know what saga it's going to be, the cosmic saga. What's the name of this saga going to be? But we know that we're at the beginning, and we haven't reached the crescendo that we reached with the first saga. We're starting over, so to speak, and the team is being rounded out now. We're introducing new characters. They are being mentored by the older characters or the more familiar characters. And it looks to me like we're going to have street level and cosmic. And street level, you know, your Daredevils, your Echoes, your Hawkeye, the new Kate. Gosh, I can't think of her name, but y'all know who I'm talking about. Kate Bishop, Lord. So we're going to see all of these street level characters. She-Hulk might be able to go both sides of it. Cosmic and street level. We might see a version of Spider-Man come in and help on the street level. It's like we're seeing two different teams, actually three different teams being rounded out, because I still feel like we're seeing the Young Avengers being rounded out. I feel like we're seeing the street level heroes like being rounded out. And I see what's going on as far as the cosmic stuff. You know, so thank you, Thomas. And Louis, thank you. Damn, she's actually speaking facts. Yes. Well, I appreciate it. And I'll see you later, Thomas. Thanks for being here. But yeah, so when we're seeing all of these different levels, like starting over, it's a start over. It's a do-over. So we're seeing these teams be rounded out. I'm looking forward to seeing what comes next on all of these different levels. And again, we see in the Young Avengers, it looks like we're building up to Secret Wars. And good Lord, you can just imagine we're going to... One of the things that I forgot to even mention too, and I'm going to come back to what we were talking about, is that Deadpool 2, and Logan, all rated R movies, are coming to Disney Plus tomorrow. And I'm wondering if Disney Plus is doing this, if they're making this announcement today, because we're going to hear some things tomorrow about Deadpool 3. Because again, all of this leads, it's obvious that it's all leading to Secret Wars, and how it's just a matter of how we're getting there and what we have to go through to get there. At first, I thought the biggest of the big bads was going to be Kang, but I can see that we're building towards something else. And I'm even wondering what the big bad is that we're going to see in the Marvels. Well, one of the, and I said I was going to end, but here I am. I'm going to start it talking all over again. This is what I do, y'all. But one of the things that is going through my mind, one of the things that I'm thinking right about now, as far as the Marvels is concerned, is how these relics, like number one, we saw the 10 rings, and we also saw an indication that the 10 rings are related to that bracelet that Ms. Marvel wears. So I'm wondering if these are going to be like those nega bands that'll take you to the negative zone. And okay, now I know I'm going crazy, but if we go into the negative zone, if that's where we find out that Ms. Marvel is and that Captain Marvel and her kind of switch places, if we find out that's where Ms. Marvel is, could we be looking at Annihilus? And I know I've been talking about that. I said something about Annihilus last saga when we were going into Infinity War and in Endgame. I said something about Annihilus. I know it sounds like I just want Annihilus, but it does look like we're pointing in that direction. Tell me if I'm wrong. But anywho, we got all of these things to look forward to. I'm not about to keep y'all forever and ever. And then it's like when I say I'm not going to keep you forever and ever, I start getting more people in my chat. If you guys are here, it's not a whole lot of you, but just hit the like button, please, to keep me maybe in and subscribe so you'll know when I'm doing this again, because I kind of halfway know what I'm talking about. Now, sometimes I can jump out the window. I make a strong leap. But other times I do know what I'm talking about, and I do welcome everybody's input. This is a conversation. It's not the Tasha show. It's a conversation. Oh, thank you, the Kazmaker. Thank you. So yeah, if you guys are appreciating, and if you guys want to talk more about where we think the next saga of the MCU is going, we're going to be talking about San Diego Comic-Con and the presentations, the panels from Warner, from all of the big names. We'll be talking about that as they occur. And yeah, I'm looking forward to talking more to you guys about this stuff. So I appreciate everybody for joining me today. Please, again, do me a favor and hit the like and the subscribe button. And also in the comments. Oh, thank you, David. I love to have y'all in your chat because I love the input. You guys keep me talking, because even when I finished all the things that I thought I had to say, we could keep on talking. The only reason I won't keep talking now is because I've gotten a little hungry. It's dinner time. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing where things go. And join me again. Like I said, we're going to talk about San Diego Comic-Con and all the things that we learned from that, and we're moving forward. I appreciate you for being here. Talk to you later. Peace.